Today we're taking a look at these MLB matches: Seattle Mariners vs New York Yankees, Cleveland Indians vs Toronto Blue Jays, Kansas City Royals vs Chicago White Sox, and Atlanta Braves vs St. Louis Cardinals, which are happening on Thursday, August 5, 2021, and giving you match breakdowns, betting tips and predictions in general on these games. Welcome back to High Stakes. Let's get straight into it. Also, don't forget to subscribe to get notified as soon as we release these sport prediction videos. And if you would like more betting tips and predictions, then check out our Patreon in the link down below. Our new Patreon is a way for us to help you improve your chances of making more money. 5 plans are available for each and every one of you. You can get 30 extra betting picks all the way up to 270 extra betting picks per month. Stop wasting hours of your time searching for bad betting advice that ends up costing you a lot of money. Join the High Stakes Patreon now and get the best betting picks and advice. New York finally is playing like the team that fans and analysts alike predicted when the season started. The offense still has quite a bit more to be desired, but compared to Seattle's lineup with a few stars missing, there's no excuse for the Yankees not to score runs at home, especially with Rizzo and Joey Gallo fully entrenched in the lineup. Cortez has been a star for the Yankees across most of his appearances, while Anderson is still getting used to Seattle, and especially life in pressure games. Having spent the year with Pittsburgh, having to now shift to games with playoff implications, especially on the road, leaves quite a bit for him to prove. Although the Seattle Mariners are only 18th in team ERA at 4.48, Seattle has performed better on the mound of late. Over the last 5 games played, the Mariners are allowing an average of only 4.00 runs per game, which has resulted in 3 victories. Seattle's whip has improved to 14th at 1.30, and opposing hitters are now averaging .249, which is 21st, but that is down from 24th place just 2 weeks ago. Chris Flexen is the leader in victories for Seattle with 10, and Yusei Kikuchi is the leader in strikeouts with 129. Seattle will hand the ball to Tyler Anderson on Thursday. The recently acquired Anderson is 5-8 with a 4.39 ERA and 89 strikeouts, and will be making only his second start with Seattle. My betting advice for that game is to pick New York Yankees. Toronto's offense will be far too much for Cleveland to handle. Cleveland's big 3 bats have impressed of late, but the lineup as a whole doesn't have the depth to score many runs, let alone a large enough number to match Toronto. Stripling already has a strong start against Cleveland to draw momentum form, including allowing only 3 combined runs in his last 2 starts overall. Tristan McKenzie was pummeled in a no decision against the White Sox, giving up 6 runs on 4 hits over his 4 innings of work. The right-hander also issued 3 free passes while striking out 2. CB Zavala inflicted most of the damage against him, with a solo shot in the 3rd inning and a grand slam in the 4th. He also served up a solo homer to Brian Goodwin in the 2nd inning. McKenzie has been extremely inconsistent this season and now owns an awful 6.11 ERA and 1.44 whip across 63 and 1/3 innings. He faces a deadly Jays lineup on Thursday night. The AL East looks like it might be giving the NL West a race for the best division in baseball. While everyone seems to have their eyes set on the Yankees making a move up the division from their trade deadline deals, the Blue Jays quietly remain right in the thick of things within their own right. The offense has been making most of the noise, but their pitching has gone under the radar to help lead the way as well. Being without Kevin Biggio hurts, but besides that, the relievers missing aren't too much to overcome, and when the Blue Jays offense is on, the pitching is nearly a second thought. My betting advice for that game is to pick Toronto Blue Jays. Being at home will make all of the difference for Dallas Keuchel in his rematch with the Royals. He's been at his best at guaranteed rate field, and given the way the last 2 games went, you can rest assured he'll be hell-bent on making an example out of Kansas City. Don't get infatuated by that offensive explosion from the Royals on Wednesday night. You'll drive yourself mad predicting their offense to show up like that again. It isn't in the DNA of a team with the league's 4th worst on-base percentage. They aren't consistently putting themselves in a position to succeed offensively, and they're more likely to go cold at the plate in Thursday's finale. Kansas City took their 1 victory in the series already, which was always likely considering how tough they typically play the White Sox. But all of that will come crashing to a halt in the rubber match. The Kansas City Royals are 15 games below .500, and their performance on the mound is a big reason why. Kansas City is 26th in baseball in team ERA at 4.98, 28th in WHIP at 1.43, and opposing hitters are averaging .256 at the plate against Royals pitching, which is 25th in baseball. Mike Minor is leading Kansas City in victories with 8 strikeouts with 121, but the left-hander has a 5.31 ERA. Getting the nod on the mound Thursday for Kansas City will be Daniel Lynch. The 24-year-old left-hander is 1-3 with a 6.95 ERA and 13 strikeouts. The White Sox have bolstered their bullpen, but they're going to need their starters to play their best baseball in the second stretch of the season. That includes veteran lefty and two-time MLB All-Star Dallas Keuchel, 4.51 ERA. Despite looking strong at points throughout the season, he has recently hit a rough patch with the team losing in his last 2 starts. One of those games came in a loss at Kauffman Stadium to the Royals, while the other was a meltdown at home to the Cleveland Indians. The Tribe hit Keuchel up for 5 hits and 5 earned runs, including 3 homers. It's been ugly at times for the 33-year-old pitcher. My betting advice for that game is to pick Chicago White Sox, -1.5. The Cardinals need to check the name out front and make sure they still own their stadium. Atlanta has been rolling ever since they arrived at Busch Stadium in St. Louis, and I'm expecting that explosive offensive effort to continue in Thursday's finale. Even if Wade LeBlanc slows things down in the early innings, it's only going to be a matter of time before the Braves get a crack at St. Louis's struggling bullpen. Yes, Taiki Toussaint had a rough outing in his last start, but that game came against a Milwaukee Brewers team that could be a championship contender this season. He looked solid in both of his outings before that game against the Philadelphia Phillies and San Diego Padres. Not to mention he'll be facing a Cardinals team that hasn't been able to hit their way out of a wet paper bag. Getting above .500 has been a major challenge for the Braves over the past few weeks, but they have yet another chance on Thursday after handling the Cardinals in the first 2 games of this series. After falling behind early, the Braves started to draw closer Wednesday night with trade deadline acquisitions Jorge Soler and Adam Duvall going deep, and fellow newcomer Stephen Vaught put Atlanta on top for good in the 8th on a sac fly. The Cardinals have looked like a fish out of water offensively. That's nothing out of the ordinary considering it obviously isn't their bread and butter. But they've got a big problem on their hands if they're allowing the Braves to average 6+ runs per game at Busch Stadium. A big problem. Wade LeBlanc will try his hand at slowing the Braves down in Thursday night's finale. This isn't just the final game of this series, but it's the final regular season meeting between these 2 teams, period. So the Cardinals and LeBlanc need to go out in style. The left-handed pitcher is throwing a 3.15 ERA with a 1.49 WHIP since his arrival to St. Louis. My betting advice for that game is to pick Atlanta Braves. Good luck to all of you. That's it for this video. Stay tuned and stay safe for the next betting tips and advice.